All right, so today we are here to talk about Book of the Month. What's up? My name is Caitlin J. Reeds. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Wow. First of all, I want to come on here and thank every single one of you that watched my Wheel of Time video from last Friday. I appreciate it so much, just the response that it's gotten. It's really validating for me to know that a lot of people agree with my emotional sentiment about the finishing of the Wheel of Time and Robert Jordan and all of that jazz. And it's just been really nice connecting with fellow readers, fellow Wheel of Time lovers, and reconnecting with old friends. So yes, that is always nice. And I just want to thank every single one of you that watched that video, commented, liked, subscribed. Thank you so much. All right, but today we are here to talk about Book of the Month. All right, this video obviously is not sponsored by Book of the Month. Why would it be? But it's also not here to trash Book of the Month, because I do think it's a very great service for what it is. You know, if you are someone who really loves to read a physical book, and I would say who is into romance, lit fic, or thriller, horror, mystery genre, I think this service would be great for you. As someone who reads primarily science fiction fantasy, I wouldn't say that it is the best subscription box or subscription service that there is out there. I can't even say that there's a better one because I don't know any other ones. But what I do have to say is I really, you know, we've talked about this. I really only purchase books that I've read. Just because in my past life, aka when I was in middle school and high school, I just feel like I really was an overconsumer of books, and I had just so many I haven't read. And you know, you could go back and see my unhauls from the first phase of my channel, I'll call it. But yeah, I just never want to partake in consumption like that ever again, all right, because that was to an excess. And recently, over the past like 2 months, I think it was, I realized just how many books I have collected from Book of the Month, and how many I've read versus how many have just been gathering dust in my bedroom, because I have no interest in them. And it's a whole lot, and it's a little bit shameful for me. And like I said, I don't want this to be bashing Book of the Month, because I feel like there are people who are right in their niche of genre, and it will be so great for them, and they read every single, you know, month that they pick, and they love it. But for me, I've seen visually that it leads to an excess of consumption and just feeling overwhelmed by the books that I see in front of me. These are really the only books besides a handful that I shove in my closet that are books that I haven't read that I own. And it's just overwhelming to look at, considering that 3/4 of them are genres that really aren't in my wheelhouse. I'm not going to say I don't enjoy them, but they're just not my wheelhouse. And I just wanted to go over today, you know, my Book of the Month TBR, my thoughts about the consumption of Book of the Month and how it leads to overconsumption, and my plans for the future of this TBR pile. Because as much as I said that these genres aren't my wheelhouse, I do want to read the books that I have here in front of me, just to read them, and I'll get rid of them if I don't like them. I'll keep them if I do, and I'll mark that as a win, because it's a genre that I'm not used to. So without further ado, let's get into it. Like, subscribe, comment down below. What are your thoughts on Book of the Month and other services like Book of the Month? I don't know if there are any other services, but like maybe we could talk about special editions and stuff of that nature down below. I feel like it's an interesting conversation surrounding just capitalism and overconsumption, like I've said a million times now, and the wasting of materials and resources just for a bargain. Because if that isn't America, I don't know what is. All right. Without further ado, I have 1, 2, books in front of me from Book of the Month, 4 of them, which I have read. I will go over those first 4 with you just to get them out of the way. And then I'm going to break them up by books that I don't really have the greatest interest in and I'm unsure what I'll be doing with, and books that I really do want to get to but just are not my normal genre, not something I would often reach to pick up. So let's get into it. The first book I have from Book of the Month that I've read is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. If you know me or my channel, you know this is one of my favorite books. I've talked about it in my favorite audiobooks, and this is a phenomenal audiobook if you haven't picked it up already. Highly recommend. All right, but that's not what this video is about, so moving on. Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. I really liked this book. I thought it was really great, and I really liked this edition, so I got it from Book of the Month. I don't think it was a month book. I think it was an add-on, so I can't even count this as a book that I read because of Book of the Month, because I think I had already read it by the point that I bought this edition. So then we have Ariadne, which I did read because I had the Book of the Month book, but I read it on my Kindle. Gotta love it. And then we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gahn. Again, read this on my Kindle. I haven't read a physical book since this month of October in like 2 years. So yeah, These Violent Delights by Chloe Gahn. I read that. But out of all 27 books, those are the only 4 I read. All right, now we're getting into the interesting part of the video, which are the books that I'm unsure about. I might just get rid of them because I know they're not going to be my thing. I might read them. I'm on the fence. All right. First, we'll start off with Alice Hoffman's Magic Lessons. I have not read Practical Magic. I know this is a prequel to Practical Magic, and that has kind of scared me away from this book. Let me know if I can read it without really knowing anything about Practical Magic. This is Magic Lessons. All right. I thought the cover looked cool. I think this was my first Book of the Month pick ever. So I'd be sad to just let it go, but I also don't know how relevant it's going to be to me. I'm not going to read Practical Magic, I don't think, so decisions. But yes. Then we have The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I'm just not a romance girly, and I know there are other romance girlies in this world. Let me know if this is one of her better works. I know Helen is quite popular in the romance community, but I don't know if this is like one of her more popular books. I don't know why I got it, to be very honest. Like I said, I'm not like a romance gal, so unsure. But yeah, I have it nevertheless. So moving on. How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. I probably got this because it said Keanu Reeves in the title. It's a romance. That's all I know about it. Again, not the biggest romance person. I could be convinced to read this because it looks like it's set in New York. I love a good New York book. If it's cute, if it's funny, let me know. Maybe I'll pick it up. But that's how I feel. You know, that's how I'm feeling. The Keeper of the Night. I don't know. I just have heard absolutely zero things about this book by Kylie Lee Baker. Absolutely nothing. Zip, zilch, zero. The cover looks cool. That's all I know I can say. That's about it. So will I read this? Maybe, because the cover looks cool, but I've heard zero things, so back and forth. I'm going back and forth. Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. Again, it says something about Camelot, so that's probably what it's about. It's probably some King Arthur story, which maybe I'll read. That makes me a little more interested, but again, I just don't know anything, haven't heard anything, not interested enough to stop my momentum with rereading right now and just pick something like this up. You know? So that's where I am. Outlawed by Anna North. I actually haven't heard the best reviews about this. Everything I've heard from people have been like lackluster about this book. I probably got it because I thought the cover looked cool and interesting. All right, and it does. But like I said, I've heard like lukewarm reviews, which doesn't make me too excited to pick this book up. So I haven't yet. The Final Revival of Opal and Nev by Dwayne Walton, or Donnie Dwayne. Donnie Walton, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, again, a book that I heard lackluster, mid-tier, lukewarm reviews on. People say that it's very Daisy Jones and the Six, but then I've heard people say, no, not at all. And Daisy Jones and the Six, Taylor Jenkins Reid in general, just isn't my all-time fave like she is for some others. And I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Have you read this? Did you like it? Should I pick it up? Again, is it something I want to stop my science fiction fantasy momentum on? I don't know. I'm not thinking so, but maybe you can convince me otherwise. In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. This one I think I'll just be getting rid of. I don't think anyone can convince me to read this. My mom, who's a big romance reader, read this and didn't like it. So why would I even bother picking it up if she didn't even like it? Then I'm certainly not going to like it. I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. The Girl in the Mirror by Rose Carlyle. I know nothing about this. Absolutely zero. Zilch nothing. I've heard nothing about this. So again, do I want to pick it up? Not particularly. Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This is a short little book. Maybe I'll pick it up one day. I don't know anything about it besides the fact that it has a bird wing on it, which again is probably why I picked it up. Okay? Again, heard nothing about this book. That's some of the thing I think about Book of the Month. It's like I've never heard any hype, any reviews about these books yet. Book of the Month sponsors every single YouTuber with like over 5,000 subscribers under the sun. And I'm totally not trying to put down Book of the Month, because I think that if you are a romance reader, a fic reader, a horror mystery reader that is more involved in the community and knows more, I'm probably wrong when I say that this wasn't viral or didn't get any hype. But for someone who's not in that and isn't interested really in involving myself fully in those communities and like immersing myself reading, devoting my favorite genre to something like that, not because there's anything wrong with it, just because I find it a little boring. And that's okay. Just like other people find fantasy and science fiction boring. But yeah, I think the cover's really cool and it's short. So there's a possibility I'll pick up this book, but I don't know. Colson Whitehead's Harlem Shuffle. I've heard good things about this, like critically review-wise. I don't know if it's like actually good. Let me know. Again, a lit fic that I don't know much about and don't really have too much of an interest in. Liberty by Caitlin Greenridge, or Greenidge. I probably got this because she shares my name, spelled a little differently, but we do share names. Okay? That's probably why I got this. And because there's a bird on the cover. Once again, I don't know I feel like I've heard like maybe one person talk about this, but I don't remember the review. I just remember being like, oh, someone's finally talking about a Book of the Month book. But I don't remember. I don't remember. Let me know. And lastly, for this section of the video, we have 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. Another thriller mystery that I haven't heard anything about. And I feel like I watch a lot of content creators in that space. Or not a lot, but like, I watch some. I like to watch content creators who aren't creating content on science fiction fantasy. I just feel like for me, that's what I like to consume, because I'm not going to read those books, so I like seeing other people talk about them. I obviously watch a lot of fantasy YouTubers too, but I just find thriller, mystery, horror, I find that interesting. I find that interesting when people talk about and read those books. Anyways, not my thing. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about this. I don't know, right? I don't know. But that's the end of this section of the video where we kind of go back and forth. We're tugged. Should I read it? Should I not read it? I don't know. Now we're on the section of the video with the books that I'm definitely going to be reading. I've heard good things about them, and I want to pick it up and see what it's about for me. They are a little daunting for me because they're not my usual genre, but I'm still excited. Nevertheless, they've been on my shelf for years. Okay. Let's just get right into it. The Death of Vivek Oji. See, it's Dusty. All right. By Awaki Emezi. I would love to read this book. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and I'm excited to get to this book. It's not that long, okay? And the cover is gorgeous. That's all. Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I remember hearing good things about this book when it came out, and when Book of the Month was doing it, this was one of the books that I was like, oh wow, again, people are actually reading it, and it was a Book of the Month pick, and I found that really intriguing. So I decided that I would read this book when going through all the books that I have. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This isn't high up on my priority list, but it is something I'll pick up eventually. I do have it here. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a beloved author. I've read Daisy Jones. I've read Evelyn Hugo. I will read Malibu Rising. Will I read Carrie Soto's back? I don't know. Let me know below. But I'll read Malibu Rising. What a cover. Also, I feel like the cover art, the cover design on this, magnificent. All right. Props to whoever did that. The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd. I saw R.F. Kuang hype this book up before it came out. That's why I got it when Book of the Month picked it up. And that's why I'll be reading it, because anything R.F. Kuang recommends, I'll be reading. All right. Darling Girl by Liz Mikulski. I think this is a Peter Pan retelling. And I remember hearing some reviews about this. I'm pretty sure there were good reviews. And that's why it's in this pile. Do I have strong feeling towards it? No. Again, not at the top of my priority list, but definitely something I want to get to eventually, you know? So, yeah. Then we have Olga Dies Dreaming. I am sorry. I don't want to completely slaughter your name. So, Olga Dies Dreaming. And I do want to read this book. I feel like I heard mixed reviews about it, but the title is so intriguing. Cover design so intriguing. I really do want to get to this book. So that's all I really got to say about it. Olga Dies Dreaming. Then we have Luster by Raven Leone, and this is one of the first books, again, that I got from Book of the Month. I have been interested in this since it came out. Again, another one people read, people liked, and I'm very interested in. I'm pretty sure it's about a woman who gets entangled within a married relationship, and I just think that is very interesting, and I'm really excited to get to this eventually. Again, it's another shorter book. We'll get to it. Winter Counts by David Heska Wanbley Whedon. And again, this is a book that's been on my radar since it came out. People really thought this was a great book, and I want to read it so badly. It intimidates me. There's this genre, this lit fic genre, really intimidates me. I think it also maybe might be a horror. Again, intimidation. The back, September 2020. That's how long I've had this book. All right, it's been over 2 years. It's time for me to read it. It's time. Then we have Kayaki by Vaishnavi Patel. And I am beyond excited to read this, actually. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I know I heard someone talk about how good this book was, and it made me so excited to pick it up and read it. I just wish my library had the audiobook version on Libby. I keep on recommending it, and they keep on not getting it. So, Moffat Library, if you do watch my videos, I've noticed that after I've talked about you on my channel that, you know, you've acquired some copies of books after complaining, and then, like, you've acquired some other ones I've requested. And I'm going to put in a request via my YouTube for you to get the audiobook for Kaki, at least, so that way I can read it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm a proud supporter of my local library system, and if you have the opportunity to do so too, you should be. Lastly, this was my final closing book for Book of the Month. I was done with it, but I still had a credit left because I had skipped a month. So they told me, you have until October 31st to make your pick as to what book you want. And they were only letting me pick from the picks of the month that they had, no like extra add-on books. So I decided to get Thistlefoot by Genna Rose Nethercott. And I decided to because the chicken house, that's it. It looked wistful and fun. And I'm actually really excited to read this just from the cover. I mean, look how fun. The chicken walking house. That looks like a blast. if I don't say so myself. So this is Thistlefoot. But yeah, as you can see, I just held up 27 books. And I've only read 4 out of the 27 of those. And I pride myself, and not that, again, I don't want to say that people doing what they love is a bad thing. I don't want to say that people doing self-care and going out and buying themselves books that they haven't read because they're super excited to read them, they love to read physical books, is a bad thing. I don't want to contribute to that narrative, okay? But what I do want to say is that as someone who almost solely reads on my Kindle from the library, okay, all of this next to me is quite a lot, and it's quite overwhelming. It feels like overconsumption at its finest, and I'm not very proud of that, okay? And between all of the books and the special book of the month, covers that they're printing, and the bookmarks that we get in the mail, and stickers, I have stickers, I have bookmarks upon bookmarks. And again, it is just so much material that is being used and consumed. And I contributed to this because of the fact, oh my God, everything's getting so expensive, but book of the month, $14.99 each month for a hardcover book. That's a great price. And it is a great price if you are into the niche that they really cater towards. I feel like maybe even if you enjoy YA fantasy, you might enjoy the service better, but it just doesn't really have a great selection of adult fantasy science fiction books. And that has also led just to this mound of books that are not in my wheelhouse, that are overwhelming, and half of them will most likely be getting donated to a Goodwill or sold or whatever I end up doing with them. And that's sad, just because there was the possibility of me saving some money on a book that I could have went to an independent bookstore and bought from them for a full price, just for the possibility of getting a hardback for $14.99. I have now acquired 27 books, 23 of them, which I have not read, and that's also a lot of money. Let's do some math. So that's $405 rounded up, that I have spent on books that I haven't read, and that is disappointing of me. As a 23-year-old still living in my parents' humble abode, while I do love my parents, thank God for a good support system that I have at home. Not actually God, but it's a term or phrase, whatever. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to be a big girl, move out of the house, get a new car, all of those adult financial decisions. And what was not contributing to the responsibility of being adult was paying $14.99 every month for a book that I knew at the end of the day I probably wasn't going to read. And I'm sorry, I'm looking over at my cats because they're doing something really cute, and I'll video it on my my laptop because I use my phone to film. Look at it. They're so cute. They're so fucking adorable. And I can't wait to insert this clip. Look how cute they are. They never do this. Bucksters. They're so cute. Look at them, guys. They're my little babies, if you can't tell. And while we're at it, just look at the abundance of books that they're laying in front of. Those are the 4 that I read. But look at the abundance of books that they're laying in front of. That's all of the books that I haven't read from Book of the Month. That's $405 sitting on my bed right there that I could have saved up for a car to move out of the house, all of the above. But look how cute my cats are. I hope you enjoyed that clip of my cats. But yeah, I just really felt the need to talk about it. Like I said, I don't want to bring down Book of the Month as a company. I really don't. I think they're doing great things, and they're diversifying the publishing industry and the book selling industry. And, at the end of the day, they're taking sales away from Amazon, which is a good thing, in my book. And I just So I don't want to act like they are the devil of the book industry or publishing, but I do think there's a conversation that we can have surrounding capitalism and consumption and the wise use of our money surrounding Book of the Month. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to come on here, share the books that I have with you, and really open up to you guys about all the books that I haven't read that I do own. So, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Caitlin J. Reeds. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment down below. How do you feel about this conversation, Book of the Month, book subscriptions in general, bookish boxes? You know, we could even open this up to subscription boxes in general. How do you feel about them? Because quite often you just have wasted material, wasted product because you don't use it. So those are my thoughts. But yes, subscribe. Thank you so much for all of the new subscribers that have came from my Wheel of Time video. I appreciate you all so much. And I can't wait for the future of this channel and what it holds, because it truly does bring so much happiness to my life and my day. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you at Friday's video. Bye.